Okie dokie. I'm going to talk a little bit about just the basic different types of handguns that I have here. There's just a couple laid out, two different types of 9mm. Of course, this is the Equalizer, exactly what you have. And then over here we have our 22, and then over here is the big guy, the 45 ACP or 45 Auto, same caliber ammo. So let's start with kind of the basics, just loading, unloading. I figured I'd give you a top view just to see some of the differences and then focus more on the Equalizer for you. So starting with our smallest, right? This is a company called Cal-Tech. It's made in the US. It's actually made in Florida. This is a Cal-Tech TX22. I'm sorry, it's a P17. TX22 is different 22. So first thing you notice is the slide is totally different. The slide on this, your action, is just that. That's it. So remember I was saying some of the differences in how they work. This is of course an ambidextrous magazine release on either side. It also has an ambidextrous safety, of course. And then your takedown for this is very different because it's a totally different type of slide. It comes down and up, and just this piece comes out. So your field takedown is a little bit different. And then your field release is right there. So right away you can kind of see similarities and differences as opposed to the Equalizer. Your takedown is a lever that slides down. On your Glock series, now this is a company called Shadow Systems, but on your Glock series it's all going to be a spring-loaded lever that you actually have to pull down with your fingers here. And then for this 45 ACP, which is just kind of a big, very basic, low-level ACP beast, it's your safety, and then your mag release is just a button, very heavy, very hard plastic trigger safety. So very, very different, but yet similar in types of models. So your 22 is just a small rim fire type bullet. So it doesn't have a center fire like what you would think of on your on pretty much most of your other ammo, especially your shotguns that you're used to. See how that has the inside. This is a center fire ammo. This is the 45, and then same thing, your center fire. All of your 9mm, 45, 357, everything like that are going to be center fire. You don't have to worry about buying one or the other. Your 22 LRs are all going to be the rim fire, which is basically like a cap pressure that presses on, it just hits anywhere in here, and that pressure is what ignites. So working our way up, lock the magazine in. Where am I? Let's bring this up a little bit. Lock the magazine in, release, just like you normally would. Empty, lock back. She's loaded and ready to fire. Safety on. So can't fire, and then red, dead. This particular, now I am going to, since it is loaded, I'm going to take the magazine out, say you were clearing it, and inside, oh, I didn't load it, did I? So let's take that magazine out. Inside, if I can get it, that's where that ammo is sliding in. So once we remove that magazine, because I already worked the action, there's still one in here. Very common mistake. Just because the magazine is out doesn't mean it will not fire. So let's clear it. And let's double check. We did see it come out, but you can see inside. I doubt the lighting will light it up. See that hole right in there? You'd actually be able to see that bullet sitting down in there. Very similar on the other models. So this weapon is now clear. If we wanted to lock it and hand it over, say you're at the range, that's going to lock it open with that push there. That's your action release. This is that tag to show chamber is clear. If that's shoved in there, obviously there can't be any ammo in there. Most of your ranges are going to require that. So she's clear, she's good to go. talk about loading magazines in a little bit. Your 9mm from Shadow Systems. This is Glock. This is kind of one of my pride and joys. It has a compensator, has your green iron sights, fancy, kind of nice gun. So typical magazine release, they're pretty standard. They're always going to be right around this area, give or take. Obviously your equalizer's in the same position, the 45's in the same position. The Cal-Tech is in the same spot. However, again, do I have a magazine in there? It is a slide down. So I'm just pressing downwards. So on my 9mm, same type of deal. If there's a magazine in there, no ammo, and you pull back, it's going to lock open. That locking open is pretty universal on most guns, where once you've fired that last round, there's a slide clip that's actually on the magazine. That locks this back, does not allow that to engage. That's when you reload, put a new magazine in, and then release it. Well, it's not going to release because there's no ammo in there, so I have to actually manually press that slide down right here, and then release. So let me show you as an example. Loaded mag, back and forth, right? So that's cleared out. So we just saw that fall out. Now, when the empty mag, again, if I just pull back, it's locking open because that magazine is empty. So now this is another common mistake I was talking about. Live ammo. You put it in here. Once I do this, you can almost see it. When I pull back, see that sliding in? She's live and ready to fire now. If I pull that trigger, that gun will shoot. So we're gonna, finger is obviously nowhere near, release, clear her out, good to go. Always double check it. Again, gotta do it backwards for you, figure this out. Nothing in a chamber. So if you were to hand this gun off to someone and they were to say to clear the gun, or at the range they say clear the gun, what you want to do is pointing either downrange or away, release the mag, and then clear it, make sure there's no ammo in there. Physically look inside the chamber, and then depending on your model, lock it back. So to lock my Glock series, I'm just pressing up on that as I slide back on the side. Normally I wouldn't do it facing up this way, but I want you to see if I can do it. I don't know if I have the strength. Just back, up. There we go, and that's locked. Normally, my physical action would be with my thumb on, this is my right hand now. So down and away from me, down range, and I'm pushing up with this thumb, pulling back. That's the normal. This gun is clear, you could hand it off. Everything in the equalizer pretty much is the same idea. You have your release, empty mag. So now when I pull this slide back, it's going to lock back because that's an empty magazine on the inside. You can check down your chamber, make sure it's empty. Same deal. When I go to release this, it's not going to go unless I slide your release down. I'm pressing the opposite. I don't know how to get down with my thumb, and then that's bringing it back. The reason it's doing that again is because there's nothing in the magazine, so that slide lock engages and holds your action back. So with a magazine, that's not going to automatically stay back. Again, this is a live round on the inside. Clear it out. A lot of times it'll come out, or in this case, in many cases, it'll come right down if your magazine is in there, right down where your magazine chamber is. So, talk safety a little bit. I just double checked again. That chamber is empty. Your safety grip and pull trigger, and it will shoot. It's okay to dry fire these. This is 2023. You don't have to worry too much about that. So just make sure it's empty. So your grip safety, as you already know, you want to come up as high as you can, close to that beaver tail, tuck in, nice tight grip. Your trigger finger, you're right-handed, most people are, is going to remain just below that slide, but nowhere where the action happens, right? So up and away. So as close as I can, tucked in tight to that beaver tail, up, nice tight grip. Do I have an empty mag? I do. So just for demonstration purposes. Now on your series, it comes with a handful of different magazines. See how that only comes down so far. This might be good for someone with smaller hands, say Ashley or Angelique. And then of course, this is what, the 15, this is a 13 round. It's a little bit longer. Oh, it's a little bit longer now here. See the difference? And then I believe it comes with a 15 or 17 round that's actually even longer. So you will get better grip, especially for me. I like the 13s, or it's either 15 or 17, because my pinky gets to actually feel and squeeze on that handle. Whereas, let me double check, I didn't run the action, but we want to double check it's empty. Where on this, see how my pinky's tucking underneath. So that's part of the reason it's kind of cool gun, where it's universal for smaller hands or bigger hands. Nice lightweight. So tuck up and in, double check one more time, empty. And then your grip on your your left hand side. Now everything's the opposite. So I'm going to come over. Now this is my grip. There's many different types of grips. So with my 3 fingers on both hands, I'm going to squeeze. I take my pointer finger on my left hand and I actually cover the entire piece, not for safety, but I get as much surface area as I can on that gun. The more contact I have, the better it's going to help with kick, the better it's going to help with control and aim. And then last, like I said, so my pointer over, my thumb just below where that slide comes back. I don't want to hold it way up here. I want to hold it down right below, kind of where the magic happens. Again, on the left side, or I'm sorry, right side, still like that. And then once I'm ready to shoot, once I know I am good, loaded, now remember this is an empty mag, so let's release that. Once I'm ready to go and I'm pointing and I'm ready to fire, then I move my finger in and then I can pull the trigger. Do not enter that area until you are ready to shoot and you are downrange, or at the person bringing into your house, or whatever you may need to do. So that's your equalizer. I'm going to talk about loading mags and things like that in a minute. I've never made an instructional video. So there's your equalizer. The big guy, the ACP. This is kind of ridiculous. It's big, it's heavy, it's awkward, but a very similar type of concept. You've got your magazine release, you've got your safety, red for dead. Big, heavy, you can literally feel the weight. When this thing fires, this hole slides back. You don't want your fingers anywhere up in there. The weight of just this action alone is heavier than this entire Glock series put together. Just this weight is heavier than that whole gun. So very heavy, very big. It's just your very basic, good kind of to have with you for hunting, throw around, throw it in the mud. Not fancy at all. When I bought it, it only came in this color, or that Desert Storm color, which I did not like. So you got your chamber, your action. On this particular model, remember I talked about differences? The safety is actually your slide lock as well, which is kind of different. It's kind of cool. We haven't seen that on any of the other ones yet. So let me see if I can show that to you. So when you're sliding the action back, see that little lip right there? Your safety, which is in the, right now, it's in the fire position. When I slide this back, am I gonna be able to do this? Let's slide it back and hold it. Now your safety, if I can get it all the way, it's backwards, can go up and in and that's actually holding your action back right there. So a little bit more primitive, a little bit more basic of an idea, but that's the only thing holding that back. If I was to slide that down, slide this down, that's going to go in. Which that brings me to a very good point. Once you do get ready to fire, don't necessarily baby your guns. So what I mean by that, I'm going to pull this up a little bit. Hello. So if you're ready to fire, you don't want to slide this back and slowly come forward in and let that rest in. Now this is live ammo in there. That's not how you want to load your action. You want to back and let go. Let that action work itself and fully engage and get inside that gun. Now again, this is live, so I'm going to do everything kind of downrange. Release the mag. Let's clear that chamber. Double check. I'm physically looking down in. Clear. So again, when you work that action, you want to do that. Nothing where you're slowly babying it in. You want that action to fully engage and fully slide all the way up. The Equalizer is a great gun because it's very user friendly. There's less to worry about that. Some of these other, especially on this Cal-Tech, the P17, if you kind of baby, it won't go in all the way, and then you'll have a misfire where it needs to be engaged all the way. Again, from Shadow Systems, their system's really good. You want to, when you load it, you want to empty mag. Let go all the way. So I'm going to hold, keep my fingers away from any kind of things that could get pinched, right? Obviously, I don't want my thumb in there, and this is universal for any gun. So I'm going to, with my left hand, grab. They usually have some type of grip, some type of indicator where to grab. All right, see all these different types of grips. So I'm going to, with my finger, away, and I'm going to actually hold with my left. Normally I'd go down, like we said, and push with my right. It's a little bit easier, especially for people with not as much strength. So push and then let go. That's to get that gun ready to fire. Again, in that case, when there's no magazine in there, it's going to let you work the action all day long. Empty mag. You pull it back, it's going to lock automatically. Now that does not mean you need an empty mag in order to lock that. They're all going to have some type of action lock. Again, action lock on this model, takedown on this model. So I'm going to push up with my thumb, push back, and lock in place. So there's some of the nuances. I said they're all kind of similar, but they have their own little differences. Again, this is a good example of a trigger safety. So trigger safety, and then let me double check. I know there's no magazine in there, however, safety first. That's your fire. Now listen for that release. You're gonna hear a tiny, tiny click. Oh, you won't, because there's no magazine in there. I lied. If there was ammo in there, which I can't really show you right now, as that comes back, it's going to trigger reset. Different trigger resets happen at different points. Another common misfire is the person pulls back just a little bit and that trigger resets, and then they pull it again thinking, oh, I didn't let go all the way, and bang, that's going to misfire, and well, not misfire, technically it's operating properly. However, that's going to fire again because that trigger reset. So let's lock her open. Again, your trigger reset on these, very nice, very fluid. In next video, we'll focus more specifically on Equalizer and then some ammunition.